moved into my new apartment. This is after my daughter moved out when she was 20. The first time I was ever alone in my own place. And she was 20 years old, and I go into my home, and I said, these two doors, the bedroom and the bathroom were like this, but their doors opened so that they would hit in the middle of the thing. So anyway, I called maintenance for the apartment. I said, could you take my bedroom and my bathroom door off and like store it somewhere, because they keep banging into each other? And I said, I'll put a curtain up or something. And they said, well, what about privacy? And I'm going, I live alone. If I need to be that private, I'll just close my eyes. They thought for a minute and then they laughed. Then they took the doors down, so it was okay. Let's see. There's been so many things happening in my life. Oh, let me talk about my daughter for a while. This will be interesting. I hate it. I love it. When she was a little bitty kid, she started cooking when she was 2. And she started working when she was 2. As soon as she could walk, I put the kid to work and made her cook her own food. Actually not. But she did learn the number 8, which she said was like this. Number 8. That's back in the day when we ate Budget Gourmet, and I would open up a corner, and then she would put in the microwave, and then click number 8. So then she could cook her own supper. And then she learned the number 2, so when she made chocolate milk in their little bitty sippy cup, before she put the lid on, she could put it in the microwave and put it on 2, and she had hot chocolate that was not burning, but you know, she felt like a big girl. So then I found out that I couldn't afford any sort of daycare. Daycare was $90 a week, and this is back in 83, 84, 85. And so I took her to work with me. Now at this point I worked at a resort, cleaning condos and things like that. So I would take her with me. She'd lay on the couch and watch, you know, cartoons or whatever we could find for her. In the meantime, she would want to help. So I gave her a little dusting rag, and she dusted all the lower stuff. And then she wanted to run the vacuum. Well, the vacuum was about 1.5 feet taller than she was, okay? So she would wrap her little arms around the vacuum cleaner, and I'd just send her off like a little weeble. She'd get in a corner and go, Mama, help me. And at that point, I would just back her up and move her into the center of the whatever room she was in and let her go. And I knew when she'd get into another corner, she'd call me. As she grew, one day she came home after visiting some people, and her hand was all bruised and swollen up, and I said, what did you do? She says, nothing. I said, what did you do? And it turns out that she was coming home in the dark, and we lived in a cul-de-sac. Well, she was running around in the dark, and smacked her hand on the back of a palm tree, right? And see all those little bird bones in your hand and stuff like that. And I said, what were you running for in the dark? She says, well, actually I was running with my eyes closed, because she says I wanted to see what it was like for blind people to run. And I thought, that's kind of why they don't run, is because they will run into stuff. Why they don't drive, too. You know, it's that combination thing. You don't drive or run because you can't see. Clever kid. One day we were in a store, and I always taught her that we can't afford much until we got paid. This is back in the day when we lived paycheck to paycheck. Wait, we're in that day now. But anyway, she would say, Mama, can I have a candy bar? And I'd say, baby, I'm sorry, we can't afford it. We haven't gotten paid yet. And she went, okay. So she was sitting in the cart with her hand like this and just kicking the back of the cart and everything. And in this other aisle, this lady comes, and she has a little daughter too. And so the girl wanted a candy bar, and the mama says, no, we can't do it. And she took it out of her hand and put it back. This kid fell on the floor, started screaming, started kicking her mom's leg and everything like that, and screaming at the top of her lungs. And my girl looks at me, and then she looks at the mom and looks at the little girl, and then she looks at me, and then the little girl takes a breath, right? So she looks at the mom and says, you must be so embarrassed. She's not changed. She's 25. She's such a cute kid. Bless her heart.